with you here on Citizen FM 93.7. It's another Monday, and it's my pleasure welcoming you to your favorite program, political program, that is Politics Now. How have you been? I hope it's been all well and good with you from this end, with the heat and all of that, and everything calm and quiet here in the FCT, while in 28 other states across the country, it's been battle between political parties as they jostle one another for who emerges as a governorship candidate, as governor, state assembly members, and so many others. How have you been monitoring the votes? Have you been hearing news? Have you got any news from other states that is exciting to you? Well, this is our country, and every time we keep talking about it, everybody in Nigeria now desires a better country. We need a better nation. We want things done better and all of that. And that is exactly where we are, and that is why we put this program together Mondays to Thursdays to look at these issues, militating against that great country of ours that we dream about. Now, the question goes out. The kind of violence I've heard in this election across the country, I mean, pockets of violence here and there. I'm not saying violence minded, but there was so much violence, a couple of killings and all of that, which is, I mean, for the family members of those who lost their lives, I mean, it's not something that you can wave away in passing because they've lost someone close, dear to them. And so I don't think so. So while we scream about INEC not doing this, not doing that, have we sat back to look at ourselves and discover that the political class and the citizens, what are our actions? What are these actions we take that actually stop us from achieving this great country of our dreams? Because I don't think, is it possible for INEC to stop people who are planning to disrupt elections? Can INEC do that? Can INEC enter people's minds and tell them to stop what they are thinking? It is the individuals, it is Nigerians who do this thing. So no matter how much plans and good will the INEC has and what they want to do, I still believe that our attitude as citizens still has to be in consonance with a great society, a great nation, for us to achieve these great elections and this great society that we look for. So it's not just about laws alone, and then the leaders themselves go against these laws, and then there's nothing anyone can do. I mean, over the weekend, I think on Saturday, precisely during the elections, I was watching a television station and I could just hear gunshots. We were in one state like that. You could just hear gunshots in the background like it was a military, it was a war zone. And I was just wondering, just for a governorship election? Just for a governorship election. Well, today I'll be having a very interesting young man joining me. He will be here shortly. Joining me. This is a young man whom I know that if you hear his name, I'm sure you should write it down, because this is a name you're going to be hearing in our country as the years go by, because he's a young man with leadership qualities. I've said it here once before that there is a program I love watching on television, and it is called, I think it's Dragon's Den. Dragon's Den. And a few times I've watched, I think it's a British program. What I see there is people who are in their houses. You say, look, I was riding my bicycle and I fell and I got injured. I went to get treatment and I couldn't find anybody who could treat me the way I wanted to be treated. I went to the chemist, I went to the hospital, and in that time I discovered that I needed to create the kind of treatment I wanted. And they created a treatment, and then they come into the Lions Den to share it with some billionaires who could support them with finances to make the business grow. So I discovered that the people who organize that program are people who provide solutions. Rather than complaining about that problem they have, they create solutions to it. And I'm talking to the Nigerian youth. Every day the Nigerian youth complaining, grumbling, Nigeria, leadership, this, that. Let's begin to create solutions. Any problem you are having, you are the solution provider for that. Can we do that? I believe that if we begin to see ourselves as the solution provider, we will begin to find solutions to the challenges we have within our society. If it is a leadership problem, you can start being a leader from where you are. You don't have to be a governor to be a leader. You don't have to be president to be a leader. In fact, if you want to be president, you need to build your profile over a period of time of up to 10, 20 years. So you can start now from where you are and begin to design yourself to be the president of Nigeria in 15, 20 years' time. And you start behaving like the president. Start being nice to the people around you. Start doing the things you believe that someone who wants to be president in the future should be doing. So I believe that any problem you believe we're having in the society, you can create a problem for it. And that's why I watched that program, Dragon's Den. You just hear people coming. I mean, I had this problem after giving birth. I was feeling like this. I mean, this for women now. There's this postpartum, this and that. And I went to all the hospitals, they couldn't do it. And I decided to do research and create this solution, which worked for me. And I want to make it to work for others. So look, I think that's how societies work. When citizens begin to realize that we are the solution providers for the challenges we have, rather than depending on others. I watched this election, and I hope when my guest comes in, maybe we can discuss a little bit about this, that it seems as if Nigerians are more interested in the presidential election than in the governorship election. Why is that? Why are we more interested in the National Assembly election than the state assembly elections, people who are closer to us? And of course, it's come up again. The FCT citizens are grumbling. They're saying the president is not governing the FCT well enough, and the National Assembly is not legislating enough. They also want to vote for a governor. They want their own state assembly. How did we come about the situation where the FCT doesn't have a governor, and the indigenes, they don't have the state assembly where their own people can be there, and then they discuss and allocate this and that just the way other states do? You know, when we think about all of this, you discover that the constitution we have, how did it come about? Did the FCT citizens consent to the FCT being a federal capital territory? Were they asked? Were they informed? Did they agree? Or it was just decreed by military fiat that this is a federal capital territory, and so the people are forced to be federal capital territory? Are they getting the benefits of that? I believe that these are relevant questions that we must begin to ask in our country and then find out. Someone told me even one time that even the Nigerian constitution is still illegal because it has not been promulgated. The Nigerian constitution was smuggled in. The military put it together, and on the 29th of May 1999, President Obasanjo was sworn in with it. And so ordinarily, is that how the constitution must be proclaimed, and all the states of the federation must accept it, sign the document and all. I think I know a little bit about the process of a constitution coming into being. On what date did the Nigerian 1999 constitution as amended come into being? So these are issues that we still need to be talking about in the process of developing our country. You need to understand that this good country we dream about doesn't come up overnight. Most of these countries we shout about and dream about of being there and all of that, they had challenges before, but they found a way to resolve those issues, and then they are where they are today. So if we dig in, sink our hoes in the ground to dig, I believe that we can also generate a great society and a great country, just like those people have. Of course, you're still on to Citizen FM. The program is Politics Now. I don't know. My guest told me there's a little bit of traffic build-up. It's a Monday. That means he didn't leave on time, but it's okay. Let's see. He'll get here very shortly, and then we can go into the conversation proper. But for now, I'm still chatting. And if okay, so we can get to so we can talk about our country and where we need to be at, where we need to go. All right, so we have to understand this, that the actions we take, every individual, impacts the country ultimately. If you sit where you are and you're just pointing fingers at people, say it's them, they are supposed to do this, the minister is supposed to do that, and then you go out, you break traffic laws, you don't renew your car particulars. When the VIO stops you, you want to knock them down, you shout at them and things like that. You are doing negativity to your country. So that great country you're dreaming about will not come into being with that kind of attitude. So I believe that we all have a role to play in bringing about a great country. And if you see that, you discover that whoever is president, I believe that if we as citizens determine to do the right things, there's no way the president can override us and be a bad person when all the rest of Nigerians want a good thing. So we all need to understand that we need to contribute our share to make that Nigeria the great country that we desire. I'll just take a few moments now. So when we come back, let's go into the conversation proper. Don't go away. This is 93.7 Citizen FM, reaching you from the big city. Abuja, thank you for being there, staying with us here on 93.7 Citizen FM. Check your time, 18 minutes downside of 3 p.m. This Monday afternoon. Thanks for being there. And this is your program, Politics Now, where we look at the issues about our country. It is my pleasure to inform you that I have my friend here in the studio. This is a young man I am proud of. I wish I were like him when I was his age. Every time I see him, that's what I think. And like I said before, this is a name you should write down, because I believe as we go forward in our country in years to come, you're going to be hearing this name more and more. I'm talking about the Chief Executive Officer of Connected Development, shortened for CODE, and the founder of Follow the Money. It's my pleasure to welcome Hamzat Lawal to the studios of Citizen FM. Hamzat, you're very welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. It's good to be on a radio show with you again.
It's been a long time
coming, yes.
Yeah, you know, before you stepped in, I was talking about that. I love watching the program they call Dragon's Den. I don't know if you know it.
Yes.
Yes. And what I see there is that when I see people come into that den, these are people who are having a problem, and they discover that there was no solution within the society, and so they create a solution, and they want to make it into a business, and they come and discuss with these people to help them finance that. And I was saying that you are someone who saw a problem and you create solutions. And I was challenging our young people that that's what they need to be doing. How did this whole thing start? Let's start from there. This CODE, Connected Development, and of course, Follow the Money, where you track all the contracts that are given around the country, the federal ministries and all of that. How did it occur to you that as a young man, I need to do this because there's a problem here?
So when I was much younger, I'm one of those young people who ran on social media. So then it was more of Facebook, even before Twitter. And for me, when I rant and complain, nothing gets changed, nothing gets done. So in 2010, there was lead poison outbreak that killed over, it was reported that over 400 children had died. So in 2012, I was struggling with knowledge and information of what has happened for 2 years, because at that time it was declared a national emergency and billions were released for this community to provide them with intervention. So I went to the Ministry of Health, I went to the Ministry of Mines and Solid Minerals, I went to the Ministry of Environment. I'm not asking, so what did you do 2 years ago? What is the state of the people now in this community, So they looked at me, and of course, I'm still looking small and young.
Even now, you're still very young.
Yes,
I can imagine you back in 2012. You must have been very, very young.
Very young. Yes, I was 24 years at that time. Now I'm 36. I'm old now. So, so they looked at me. So who sent you? Which political party do you belong to? Are you opposition? Why are you asking? What is your business? What is your concern? So they kept asking me, very unfriendly questions, and so I got really frustrated. I went to Chabi Motor Park here, and I said, I told the people at the park I'm going to Zamfara. So you go in a Sharon bus, Guso, and it's 7 hours by road under 42 degrees, really hot. So I entered the bus, and by the way, before that time, I've never been to Zamfara. I got to Guso, so I kept asking, I want to go to the community where children had died. So it took me plus or minus 18 hours. I got to this community. One, I found out that over 700 children had died, so it was underreported. Two, 1,500 children were very sick at that time, below 5 years, and at the verge of losing their life. 3, no single kobo of the billions of naira released 2 years before that time got to this community. So when I kept asking community members, they say, yeah, they had on radio that government has released money, but they're still waiting for over 2 years. And they were asking me, are you the guy that is supposed to bring the money from Abuja? I'm like, no, I'm here to find out what has happened and what was the state of the people. So what was the root cause? It was, government called it illegal mining, but I call it unregulated mining. So I went deep into the forest again, and I found out, there were mining activity, because so they were mining, and then the lead from the mining is contaminating their water, their soil, their food, and the household, and that's why children whose immune system are low are dying. So I came back to Abuja and I started a campaign on Twitter with the hashtag Save Bagega. The name of the community is Bagega in Anka local government, Sanfara, and the community needed to be saved. So we started hashtag Save Bagega. And then from Twitter, it went viral on Twitter, Facebook, it came on BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, DW, local TV. It was a conversation that the entire world was talking about, because I took pictures and videos when I went to the community. So people were seeing, the plight of the people in this community. And then President Goodluck Jonathan released $5.3 million, which was close to $1 billion naira. And then, I was really excited that, oh, wow, just from my Twitter social media campaign, the world is talking about it, and close to $1 billion has been released. But then it now dawned on me that 2 years before that time, monies were released, but it didn't get to the community. And that's how I say, what, we're going to follow this money. And that's how I started following the money. And for me, I was trying to answer, where was this money coming from? Okay. The president, where was it going to Zamfara? What would it be useful to provide intervention and save 1,500 lives? And that's how I followed the money from finance ministry, down to Gusau, down to Anka. And today, if 1,500 children's lives have been saved, now they have, potable drinking water, they have access road, they have primary healthcare center, they have primary schools. It's just amazing. Now there's internet service even in this community with mobile technology.
I congratulate you.
Well, thank you.
When you sit down today and you see our young people complaining and shouting, they want a particular person to be president, and they themselves have not brought themselves out to create solutions or do something about the complaint they have, even in their own little community, how does it make you feel?
So, for me, I see them, they see problems. In Nigeria, I don't see a problem. What I see are opportunities. And you see, this perspective is really important. Okay. Because the way you view an issue, that's how you're able to address it and challenge yourself. So I see a lot of young people, they still complain on social media. Yes, it's great. This is a democracy. Your voice is important. But beyond your voice, what skill do you have? How are you engaging in the process? How are you continually engaging? What are you doing in also mobilizing? Because see, beyond engaging, you must mobilize, because there's power in numbers. You see, I got it trending. That's numbers.
So my mind is, you've told me this story before, but my mind is keep getting blown every time you repeat it again. So I'm so excited that a young person, and when I related to that Dragon's Den, when I hear people every day, I was having this problem. I went around the shops, to the hospital, to chemists. There was no drug for this, so I created one. I like to hear young Nigerians challenging themselves, so we can be solution providers to the problems we have.
You see, it's not easy, because you see, I've told the story in less than 5 minutes, but this is a story of over 12 years ago. I started in 2012. Now we're in 2023.
And imagine that you were just 24 at that time.
Yes, at that time, going 25. Now I'm 36. I say I'm no longer
you. Still on it.
Oh yes.
It's
so consistency. So now we've built Follow the Money. I built Uzabe for election monitoring. We've built Despac for citizen engagement. We've built so many tools where we can then focus. You see, one of the biggest challenge for young people is focus.
Okay.
You can't be jack of everything and master of nothing. And you see, I say skill. What skill do you have? How are you organizing? How are you using your skill to bring value? Because the world needs value. So what value do you bring? And how does this value translate into solution and giving you a seat on the table? Because you see, a lot of young people say, oh, we need inclusion, we need a seat on the table. But I ask, what do you bring to the table? And for me, we don't even need a seat on the table. We need to break the existing table because it's not inclusive. It doesn't talk about justice. So we need to build a new one and come with our chairs that is inclusive, that women have a voice, people with disability have a voice, young people have a voice, and all the people also have a voice, because we need to have intergenerational solidarity. So again, for me, skill, being focused as a young person and not always complain, bring about. So when you criticize, what are the solutions you're sharing? So if you say this is not being done well, how can it be done better? Today I have access to government ministers. At that time all of them were saying this small boy, but today they want to hear from that small boy. They listen to me because I have numbers, I have I bring value, I bring skill. We've won the United Nations Award on SDGs, one of the highest in the world. We've won the Council of Europe Award. Nigeria is not a member of Council of Europe. I beat France and Germany, and I brought it to Nigeria. So I say that Nigeria is a breeding ground, because you see, maybe if I was from America, or I was born in America, I wouldn't do all of this. Nigeria is still ripe for people to bring solution, because our democracy is still emerging, our society is still emerging. So there are opportunities enormous for you to plug in and bring solutions.
Amber, you're talking with so much hope, but the young people believe that there's nothing here. I was talking with somebody this morning, a young lady, and she was so despondent. I was telling her, look, I've lived in America, and I deliberately decided to come back home because I know this is where the action is.
I was in America in December last year.
Okay.
I was in Europe last year. In short, when my Schengen visa expired, when I applied for renewal, I applied and I asked for 2 years because I always go to Europe because of my work. They gave me 5 years. You know why? They know this guy does not even want to come to our society. He just want to come for his meetings and networking and go back. They gave me 5 years multiple entry.
And some people are selling their property, killing themselves just to get 2 weeks visa.
So again, when I see people, there are opportunities here. I just think you need to change your perception and perspective about your country, and see your country as a breeding ground where you can add value, where you can contribute to nation building. America did not just become what it is today. Europe did. Their citizens build it. So why can't we join hands and build the country of our dream?
I'm happy you're saying this, because when we say it, sometimes they say he's a journalist, he is this and that. So it's great that a young man like you are the one who is saying this.
You see the people that talk about Japa. I've been to Canada, I've been to Europe, I've been to America. I've been to over 40 African countries. So I've traveled even within the continent. And for me, there's no place like Nigeria.
Absolutely
there's
not.
Anytime I travel and it's 1 week away, I feel sick. I want to come back home. There's a lot to do here, and the opportunities are enormous. So guys, young people, don't go, please. We must fix this country. Do we want to leave the country for the older people? No. And what becomes of our children? What becomes of our history and our people and the culture? What becomes when the future leaders talk about us? What do they want, or what do you want them to say about us? So we need to work and become the Obama of Nigeria, and become the Nelson Mandela of Nigeria. We need to tell a story. We need to change the narrative as young people. So for me, when I see people that they want to leave, I have nothing against people who want to leave, but there's a lot to be done here. So if everybody left Canada at that time, nobody want to go to Canada.
Yeah, I asked someone, I say, look, imagine that Nelson Mandela jackpot from South Africa. What would be the fate of his people now in South Africa?
Exactly.
He went through all that trouble for the liberation
of his people. So you want change to happen? You must sacrifice. Okay. I left my comfort. I tell people, you want change to happen? You must leave your comfort. If I didn't take that risk, traveling 18 hours. I can imagine.
I don't want to go, because I keep 24-year-old child just say, look, I want to find out exactly what is going on. And I'm very happy with that. But let's come forward now. We had elections 3 weeks ago, and we had elections 3 days ago. The young people, they like the last one, I was watching television, I was just talking about it, I was violence everywhere, and the same young persons who desire a better Nigeria are mostly involved in this. What does that say? I don't know how you interpret that.
So I think the corrupt politicians and mischief makers have mastered the art of violence, using young people and fisting in the... So today we have over 30% unemployment. Inflation now is about 27%. You know, you have...
Please, when Hamza speaks about those records, he's using official records.
Oh, yeah, all official records.
That is correct. So
all official records.
Good.
You know,
please take note.
You have a country where 100 million people are living below poverty. What that means is people cannot afford 3 square meal. They don't even know where their next meal... Let me break it down. It means that you have over 100 million people that cannot spend up to 300 naira every day. You have over 20 million out of school children. 70% are girls. You have forced marriage. You have child marriage. So we're dealing with a society where the corrupt politicians and mischief makers have amassed wealth stolen from the people, and using that same wealth, giving peanuts to perpetrate evil and violent acts. And because you have weak institutions, you know, law enforcement agencies are weak. Now you have strong men and weak institution. So again, when I see this, it breaks my heart. But then I also say that, you see, when we talk about people who were not opportune to go to school, so we talk about the destitute or the agberos, I said those are the people we need to engage. You know, we started this campaign on sexual and gender-based violence, and I went to motor parks, and people were saying, no, why would you go and engage people in motor parks? I said, because if Nigeria will go up in flames, those are the people they will use. I need to reorientate them so that when people come to them and give them 2,000 or 5,000 to go and stab someone or cause mayhem, they would remember what I tell them. But if Nigeria must work, they must see themselves as part of the progress, as part of the process. So, yes, I engage Agberu, all these motor park people, I engage them and say, see, you have a role to play in nation building. Each and every one of us have a role. As a journalist, as an activist, as government, civil society, everybody must play their individual. And we're all leaders in our own right, you know?
Yeah.
And when we make these people understand this, then there will be dignity of labor, there will be dignity of life. And then people will understand that that small role they are playing is making a significant difference when all of us come together.
Okay, fantastic. Now we are still awaiting results of the elections. Yeah, okay.
Yes, some of the results are in.
No, I don't want to go specific into the elections.
Oh, yes.
I am looking at the complaints that have trailed those things, and for me, I sit back and I'm seeing INEC making effort. It was INEC that created the beavers.
Yeah.
It was INEC that created this electoral act and pressured the president and the system to sign it. So it means that on the part of INEC, there was a desire for better elections.
Oh, yes.
But in that equation of things working, the Nigerian input of the Nigerian is there. And so when it fails, I don't know, people are shouting INEC.
You see,
what do you think, Hamza?
I say that the problem is in society. So you're blaming INEC. Who is INEC? From what society is INEC ad hoc staff, national commissioner, INEC chairman, resident electoral commissioner? From the same society. The same society, and you expect, so it's like garbage in, garbage, and you're complaining. So when you look, so I've engaged in elections since 2011. 2015, 2023, we deployed 20,000 observers, and for us, we're not keen about the result or who emerged winner. We wanted to follow the process, because if the process has credibility, nobody will challenge the result. When we started engaging in the Electoral Act amendment, and we went to the National Assembly, and then also campaigned for the president to sign the 2022 Electoral Act, and then giving powers to INEC to integrate technology. We were in Kenya last November, where the INEC chairman also led a delegation to observe the presidential election. It was the same beavers that was deployed. And I hear also in Liberia later this year, where we will also go and observe election, they're deploying, which is great, integrating technology where you can checkmate over voting and the corruption around elections. But there is also human interference. It is people that would control the machine for accreditation. It is people that is expected to take pictures of the result and upload. We've seen where some people will say, no, we would not upload this result. Or because of the human interference, people are changing the result, or people are manipulating the process, or subventing the process.
That is not INEC per se.
Even interference by political parties and politicians. So again, when we look at, and when we reflect after this election, I think we need to ask ourselves, what are our values as a people? Because it's as if we've lost values. Because values is what makes the fabric of society. We're losing the fabric, no value. The only value we understand is money, material wealth. That's why today politicians are buying votes as low as 1,000, or even beer. They give alcohol in Benue State just to sway voters or to induce voters. So we've lost our values as people. So when you lose your value, and you see, democracy itself, the first process of democracy is electing a democratic government through election. So if you get the election wrongly, it means that the entire value chain
is corrupted.
So you cannot enjoy the dividends of democracy when you've not invested in the process that brings about that dividend. It's just as if you say you're going to retire in how many years and you didn't work to get pension or gratuity and you're hoping to get it how would you get it?
How do we rejig this society so that these values? I remember, I know I'm older than you are. There was when I was younger, I could move from my village, just going around in the village naked. Nobody worries that I'm going to get kidnapped or get snatched. I mean, way back in time. Today, I can't even allow my children to go outside the gate. So Hamza, how do you think there's a possibility that we, Nigeria, can rejig the society and get back those values, and this materialism that has taken over the place can be battered down a little bit?
So as a country, we need a unifying vision and purpose. So when you ask, what is the purpose of Nigeria?
Okay.
Collectively, what is our vision collectively? And I think we need to go back to the family setting, because my value as a person started from the family circle, what my parents instilled on me, how my mother brought me up, ensuring I go to school, ensuring that I don't tell lies, because that is what informs my principles and value as an individual. But as a society, how we do this is every family unit, we must go back, Back in the days, when I come back from school and I come with a friend's toy, my parents will punish me and say, you must be contented with what your family can provide for you, because that's how corruption starts. You're eyeing someone else's wealth or someone else's toy when you cannot afford it. So what it means is you would go and do anything it takes to either forcefully collect it or steal it, or you go and commit a crime to be able to afford it. So, but for our country, we must have a vision as a people, a purpose, and we must also have a plan, because when you fail to plan, it means you're planning to fail. We must have, a long-time plan. No, nothing like low-hanging fruit or short-time. It must be look at how did Singapore get where they are? Because their leaders thought about the next generation, not the next election. Our politicians or leaders are always thinking about, now we're done with 2023. What happens in 2027? No, we need a leader to sit and say, what happened in 2080, 2090? When they even know more, what becomes of their country and their people? Because the biggest investment is investing in humans.
Okay. I remember Bill Gates coming to Nigeria to say something like that, and how he was slammed by Governor Nasir El-Rufai some years ago when Bill Gates was saying, invest in your people. So we need to invest in our... But Hamza, I love what you said. What is the vision of Nigeria? Hamza, you go to Delta State, they are thinking a different thing from what they are thinking in Sokoto. You go to Yobe State, they are thinking a different thing from what they are thinking in Ogun State. Why is that? How is it possible for Nigeria, for us, to have a collective vision?
Yes, it is possible.
What is the American dream? What is the British dream?
Exactly. There's an American dream. Yes.
An American
and see, it's okay. When you go to Oklahoma, when you go to New York, when you go to Washington, D.C.,
New
Jersey, they all have what they're thinking. But it is connected
at the top.
It's connected to, there's that American dream. They will not see themselves as, I'm a New Yorker. I'm a DC person. They see themselves as an American, and they proudly say, I'm an American. Yes, maybe I live in Oklahoma or Texas, but I'm an American. So we need Nigerians to see themselves first. Yes, you can be from any religious or any ethnic or any region. You can be in Delta thinking differently or Sokoto, but you must first see yourself proudly to say, I'm a Nigerian, and whatever I'm doing here in Sokoto should also reflect and impact people in Delta, people in Lagos, people in Edo, and all of the states have their own natural resources and wealth that they can tap into from. And the fact that, you see, today we get over 90% of our wealth from the oil and gas in the Niger Delta region, the crude oil. But people in the entire federation is enjoying that wealth. We need to be able to also connect a vision where irrespective of where we find ourselves and the class you belong to in society, that there is no discrimination, but most importantly, there is justice. See, where there is no justice, there's no peace. The fabric of society must be embedded by justice. So what is the criminal justice element of society? Do you get justice when your rights are trampled upon? Or they will tell you, oh, we can't do anything, or go and do your worst. That's why people take arms against state and authority. So if people know that no matter what, we'll get justice. No matter who you are in America, you can't get away from justice.
No, the former president just been indicted.
You see, that occupied one of the highest offices of the land.
That's
you
right.
see, have we ever investigated any former president in Nigeria? He's a former president.
Conspiracy of everybody covering everybody else.
You understand?
Yeah,
So
that is correct.
again, as a country, we must lead a country with consequence. When you have a society where there is no consequence, so anything goes. No,
all right.
We're not a banana republic.
Okay.
We're a country that is led by rule of law. So we must show it. Where when you do something wrong, then there are consequences. When you do something right, there's reward.
Also be
we don't have a reward system.
Okay, absolutely.
So if you have a reward system, then there will be room for competition. There will be room for progressive competition where the best would go up. But that does not mean you would also relegate people that are. No, everybody will find their fitting and play their own role that connects to each other.
Fantastic. All right, I know you're enjoying this as much as I am. You're hearing the voice of Hamzat Lawal. He's the CEO of Connected Development, that is CODE, and of course the founder of Follow the Money. If you didn't join us earlier, you must have heard how he came about those agencies and organizations. He's a young man. Let's put it like that.
But I'm not a youth.
By Nigerian definition. Hamza was also one of those who fought for
the not too young to run. Yes. So I just resigned.
You just resigned?
Yes, I have. So I turned 36. Yes, I turned 36 on March 12, which was on a Sunday. Yes, on March 13, I put in my resignation and say, we can't preach and act differently.
Okay.
I said, I'm no longer a youth. So yes, I've played my role on that campaign. Bringing about the constitutional amendment and youth integration. So now I'm no longer a youth. I am young, yes, but I'm not a youth, so I resign honorably.
Okay, so you're hearing it from him. You're seeing that if you want to build your political career, it's not 1 month, 2 months to election. You start doing the right things. You must do it over a long period of time. And like I've told you before, write his name down, because I'm sure you're going to be hearing it for a long time in this country. But first, you can join us. If you're interested in what we say, you want to make an input, please call and join us, because we are discussing our country. We must make this country great, because it is a great country. 0903-222-9797. That's the number you can call. 0903 222-9797. There's an alternate line actually, and that is 0818-2222-205. Please dial us. Let's hear your take on these things we are saying about we being the solution providers for our nation, rather than just depending on the political leaders who are just there. They're thinking about themselves and their cronies. All right. So I'll take the last number again: 0818-2222-205. Dial any of those lines, and you'll be right here with us in the studio. Maybe you have a question for Hamzat Lawal as to his motivations, and you feel that Nigeria is not that kind of country where you are rewarded. Hamza, you were talking about reward system.
Yes.
This is one of the challenges Nigerians have had, that the reward system is very poor, and people want instant reward, instant benefits from any effort they put in. And so they feel there is frustration when they make a little effort and they don't see a relevant results with that. So
again, for change to happen, you must be patient.
Hamza, please just hold your thoughts there. Let's see if we can talk with this person. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my name is Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah, from Altabale.
Okay, how are you doing today, Jerry?
Fine, sir. All is well, sir.
Okay. I know you want to talk to Hamza. Please go ahead.
I'm grateful for our guest today. Honestly, the man speaks well. Anybody who is supporting you, I'm telling you, the person needs Nigeria change. We need to change, and we need to start from the youth. Honestly, Hamza, I give you thumb up. You have to be guys, very, 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 very work hard, because the way where our leader is going is not the way where you have to emulate them. Honestly, if youth continue following the leader they have done enough, honestly, will not see the goodness of this country. I have to urge you. You have to keep it up.
But Jerry, it's not. So Hamza is actually challenging you that from where you are, you can start doing something there to make Nigeria better.
Yes, you see, we work hard for this election, but our and security agent that disappointed us.
You are seeing problems again. Hamza said you should be seeing solutions instead of challenges. I don't know, Jerry, if you understand that.
Election is nothing right about, honestly.
Okay.
It's a of this kind of man. You're not continue encouraging us.
Okay.
Seriously. Plus, we have still lose hope in our leadership.
Okay.
Because when the INEC do all this kind of thing, nobody have a hope in our leadership. Because it's a wrong process produced and a wrong leader. Nowhere Nigeria will go.
All right, Jerry. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. The voice of Jerry there, who is calling us. Please, the telephone lines are still open. 0903. Some calls are coming in there. Please, you can call now. 0903 222 9797. 0903 222 9797. Alternate line 0818 2222 205. You can join us. Let's see. Yes, Hamza, you can hear that young man there calling us and still saying that we must losing hope. But you were running through a thought process before that call came in.
And thank you for your contribution. We can't give up hope. The only thing we have as mankind is to continue to be hopeful and continue to keep pushing.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Okay, am I speaking to where the Hamza is?
That is correct. This is Citizen FM 93.7.
Okay. The young man, is it Hamza?
Could you introduce yourself, please, and where you're calling from?
This is Emmanuel calling you from Abuja.
Okay, what part of Abuja is that?
I'm calling you from here in Apo village.
Okay, Apo, okay. Yes, this is Hamza is here, that's right. He's right.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, great. So you heard it now.
I do have much contribution. I've been listening to him. The young man have tried, he has spoken well. I don't have much car to continue the process now, but if possible, I can have his contact number that I can be able to reach out to him again.
You can reach me on Twitter. My handle is @HamziCode, or you can follow me on Facebook, Hamzat B Lawal. I have a fan page, and you can just send me a message.
Okay, fantastic. Could you take the Twitter handle again?
@HamziCode, HAMZY, then CODE.
Okay.
Twitter, Instagram, then Facebook is Hamzat B Lawal. I have a fan page.
Okay, @HamziCode. So from there, maybe if he wants to give you his number, you guys can make conversation.
Yeah, we can complicate. Or you can send me his number. I need his personal number also.
All right. It's all good.
I like the young man vision, and I need that idea for we to connect together and how to see how we can bring Nigeria youth into oneness and bring this development together.
All right.
God bless you, Hamza.
And you too, bro. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, we're still here, Hamza. So from here, so some people have complained, Hamza, and this is where I don't know how much power you have. Some people have complained that the basic fabric of the Nigerian society, the constitution itself, does not really create a lot of room, but this has not been promulgated. It was forced down by the military and the incoming national assemblies, rather than looking at that document to see how they can make it amenable to the Nigerian people, are still looking at themselves, their own benefits. Well, how do you see that?
Democracy is still evolving, and yes, I agree that the 1999 constitution as amended is not a constitution that talks about justice, fairness, equity. And if you look at every constitution, you say the people, we the people. But do we the people actually have the powers? No. It is the few rich, powerful, corrupt people that still controls most of the system and process. So hopefully the 10th National Assembly would kickstart a constitutional amendment process, and I think
you're hoping
no, they will.
Okay.
So as citizen, and so because for me, I've already started jotting down what kind of amendment has to
agenda,
happen,
okay.
particularly around electoral act, because that becomes the outcome of, or as we go into 2027 election. So for me and for you out there, look at the constitution. Let's.
Can we just sorry, yes. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
let's just quickly. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. I thought there was somebody there. Okay, let's take this one then. Let's see. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's very calling back. Please, a second, please. I want to know whether you know that there is a bill our president signed. That is state can generate their own power. It's very, very interesting. If Hamzan can go through the bill, honestly, to help a youth, honestly, it means that any state is capable to generate light on their self.
Okay.
Please. That I want to.
Yeah, I've gone through it, which is great.
Okay.
It allows us to not only distribute
radio. Yeah.
It allows us not only to distribute, to generate power, but also distribute power.
Okay,
so
which have been denied the state.
Yes, so now you can, even communities can, have substation, generate electricity, and then transmit that.
Okay, so I mean, it's
this is great. It's going to create jobs, also create opportunity, and then we'll make sure Nigeria gets away from being dark always. This is great. I know about it.
Okay. Hamza, look, it's been wonderful having you here in our studios. We are running out of time. I don't know. Look, look, anytime I see you like this, I just look at the Nigerian youth as if they could have your vision. So I don't know. Do you have like something to tell the youths or something? This despondency, this Jackma syndrome, and all of that I will see that really bothers me. I think they will listen to you more than they will listen to me because you are closer to their mentality.
So what? One thing I've also done is I've started building other young person, mentoring them and grooming them across the country. I have different young people I've identified who have some skills and capacity, so I'm shaping them and I'm building them because we need to groom the next set of leaders, and we need to groom people that can even do better than us. So my message, to young people out there, please don't give up hope. It's only Nigeria that we can truly call home. In any other place, we're second-class citizen, but at home here, we're first-class citizen. Let's fix Nigeria and work together. If we work together with mutual respect, mutual understanding, national integration, national vision and unity, with peace, we will definitely enjoy that dividend. But it will take time, but it's worth the investment.
Fantastic. All right, the voice of Hamza Lawal, the CEO of Connected Development, that is code and founder of Follow the Money. You just heard him here. He has resigned from the Not Too Young to Run just a week or about a week ago when he clocked 36. He said, look, he doesn't fit into the youth demography anymore, and so you must put your money where your mouth is, and so follow the rules as well. I told you, put his name down. This is a name you're going to be hearing for a long time in our country in the future. So, young persons, please don't give up hope on your country. You just heard it from him. All right, Hamza, I want to really thank you for. I know how busy you are, how we had to be. We've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah, no, but thank you, and thank you, Citizen FM. You guys are doing fantastic work, and I'm really excited about our partnership during the elections. I met with Bentu, and I've met with the radio manager. You guys are doing fantastic work, and I'm glad that citizens have a voice through your FM, and they're also hearing other voices and shaping, their knowledge, their perspective, and their role as citizens.
All right, thank you so much. We also appreciate you and the work you're doing. We just wish you more elbow grease, and then we believe that as we go ahead, one day we'll sit down to celebrate that great nation that we all are dreaming about. All right, of course, and this is where we'll put the condensed onto this edition of the show. Don't forget, tomorrow is another time, and we'll have another interesting guest. Don't forget to join us and be a good citizen at all times. I want to thank my producer, Fred Nice. My name is Ernest. Tomorrow is another day. Be a good citizen and have a wonderful day.